It's not about the journey. If you suck at martial arts, at fighting, after 10 years of doing martial arts, you screwed up. What's up guys, Nguyen, OG Fitness, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, this channel is all about fitness for martial arts for older guys. If you're young, don't worry about it. It's not your fault and you won't be young forever. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about my issue with when people say it's all about the journey. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's about the destination. The journey is part of it. You have to go through a journey to get to where you want to go. Now, if you want to get to where you want to go faster, then the journey itself has to be in the right direction. Okay, so now when it comes to martial arts, we train martial arts so that we can know how to fight, essentially. At least that's what it is for me. And then, of course, it goes a lot deeper than that. It becomes a life philosophy, a way of thinking, a way of behaving, a way of living, and so on. But you have to be good at fighting. Bottom line. And if you're not, there's something wrong with your approach and how you're doing things. And listen, I screwed up a ton. And that's why I make these videos. One of the reasons why I make them is that I want to share with you guys my lessons so that you guys could, well, learn from them without accumulating the scars and wasting a tremendous amount of time trying to figure this out. So let me look at my notes quick here. Yes. So the destination is where it's at. And I believe that anything we do, we want to be successful at. So if you're training in boxing, it's because you want to become a good boxer. You're not just going through the motions and doing all the sparring and spending all this time, getting punched in the face and so on. Just, yes, it's enjoyable. And it's important that you learn to enjoy the process. But ultimately, you want the results, right? Because when you get the results, it makes it, well, very gratifying. You have the skill, and you can continue and you get even better, okay? And then you can move on to other things and set other goals for yourself. But destination matters. The result matters. So people who say it's all about the journey, of course, you're going to have to go on a journey to get to where you want to go. But you have to get there, okay? People who say that it's all about the journey, it's like saying, oh, I don't care if I suck or not. Like, I don't know. But to me, that sounds like a cop-out. It's important. Like, why would you want to spend all that time practicing any kind of martial art and sucking at it after, 10 years? You know, you might be good at that martial art, but suck at fighting. It depends what you're learning it for. But for a lot of people, I'm speaking to the people who actually want to know how to fight and develop those skills, but still have that develop themselves as a martial artist, right? Now, the people who are just doing it for a culture thing, that's a different story. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to think on that, but yeah. So, and also another thing is, if you say it's all about the journey, you don't really care, I feel as though maybe it's because you don't want to admit that you screwed up. And like I said, I screwed up a lot. If I knew what I knew now and the way I'm going to raise my kids later on, trust me, they're going to have a really, really good head start in all of this, okay? Now, what does an ideal journey looks like if you're a martial artist or a person who gets involved in martial arts because they want to learn how to fight and to level up, develop their skill set and all? So the first thing is athleticism, okay? So I think that's the first thing you have to develop. So ideally, as a kid, you did a lot of sports. So for those of you guys who are about my age and who have families, FYI, I don't have kids, but I plan to. It's in the works. So gymnastics would be the best to start them off there, because gymnastics is essentially a competition of who's the most athletic. Like, think about it. A gymnast pretty much has mastery over his body. He could all the stuff that he does, that they do, man, we don't even, like most people can't even fathom themselves doing any kind of stuff like that. So you gotta start young. Now, if you don't have gymnastic club nearby or whatever, what you can do is they can do a lot of sports. The more sports they do, the more movement patterns that they're exposed to. So when you're exposed to a bunch of movement patterns at a young age by doing a lot of sports, a variety of sports and martial arts even, then what happens is that you become more athletic, okay? And it's easier to do this when you're young. When you're older, it's doable. It's just that we don't have the patience, the time. We get a little bit discouraged, and we just, as an adult, we tend to not like sucking at things, So we stick to what we're good at, unfortunately. Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing is grappling. You have to, after you establish that baseline of athleticism, and guys, it's not one thing at a time. This could all kind of be fused together in a sense, right? So you could be doing gymnastics, your kid, I mean, or yourself if you have the time. And that's the thing, when you're a kid, you have a lot more time, right? And you don't have as much psychological baggage to deal with when it comes to training and all that. So as a kid, you would do gymnastics, or you would do a whole bunch of sports that would, you know, develop you develop your athleticism. Okay, and then after that, you would need some form of grappling, because grappling, in my opinion, takes longer to master than striking. That's just my opinion. Now with grappling, also, if you're a kid, is that, well, there's no punches and kicks yet. There's no hits to the head as well, so that's a good thing. So takedowns, submissions, you know, that's grappling. Then the next thing is hands. Hands meaning you gotta know how to throw your hands. You gotta know how to punch. So, you know, boxing, that would be the ideal sport, in my opinion, to learn how to throw hands. Once you learn how to throw hands, you can learn how to throw feet. Mind you, if you don't have a boxing club and you don't have, let's say, a taekwondo club, then, you know, you could just, but you have a kickboxing club, I mean, that's good enough, right? But ideally, this is the ideal order. So hands and then feet. So punching and then kicking. After that, elbows, knees, bam, right? And then after that, weapons. So, you know, knife, gun, sticks, what else is there as weapons? Yeah, I mean, those are the basic ones, right? And then from there, the icing on the cake would be self-defense concepts. Now, with the self-defense thing, you're gonna pick up things along the way while doing all this, you know, for self-defense. But I think it's still important to dive in a little bit deeper, or as deep as you want to go, to understand the elements of self-defense. And it's very situational. Okay, and so you have to go through these practices, spot exercises. But I think that once you develop your foundation, so you have your athleticism, you have your grappling, you have your striking, you have your weapons. Self-defense afterwards is kind of it's just to tie it all together, you know, for people who are concerned with self-defense. And every martial artist should be concerned with self-defense. But, and in the other videos I mentioned this, you gotta train sport, but you gotta think street. To a degree, okay? And after this is what the ideal journey would look like, okay? And if I had to redo it, I would redo it in that order. So knowing what I know now, but without actually having the skills, that would be kind of funny, then I would do it this way. Or this is the way I would approach training my kids, okay? And of course, if you're older, then obviously you don't have all this time to go step by step like this, so you're gonna have to fuse them all together and incorporate the athleticism to develop it through your training and the weapons and all that. You're gonna have to like just do everything basically, you know. And that's a little bit harder, but still, I think that if you have this framework here of how and what order to do things, then it could help you as well. And you do what you can, where you can, when you can, and as much as you can. Now, the other thing, to support all of this, to support this journey, you need fitness conditioning. You need body conditioning. So body conditioning is, you know, people break, stones, you know, concrete with their hands or wood or whatever. And they, you know, break baseball bat with your shins, you know, and having a really strong body where you're very resistant and resilient to impact. You know, like think Kyokushin, Muay Thai, body conditioning, bang, bang, and so on. And then there's also, mobility and flexibility. Okay, so those three things have to be there so that it supports your martial arts journey. And that's it for this video, guys. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share it with one of your friends who has kids maybe, or who's older, or you know, who's just interested in this kind of stuff. Follow me on IG, and so I can answer your questions directly there. If you have any, you can ask it to me personally, because here in the comment section, it's great, but sometimes it's hard to keep track and to follow up with you guys. That's for this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much. Peace.